A near-fatal accident forced these two to face each other in court.
And all of a sudden, I just hear a roar. I see a truck right on me. Boom! Your Honor, not only did he hit me, he was going to flee the scene of the accident.
I mean, you're lucky that truck went right by your head.
I smelled his tire.
And later, Latrina and Savannah battle it out before the judge.
I'm like, okay, this is an A and B conversation. See yourself out of it. And then she was like, I'm gonna put my hands on you. I said, once you put your hands on me, you're gonna go to jail because obviously you can see I'm pregnant.
But Judge Faith tells the ladies to pump the brakes on their baby mama drama.
You have a choice to make here. This is not a therapy session, this is court. You have kids with the same man, so you are going to be connected in some kind of way for a long time.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Sherwin Ross says he was blissfully riding his motorcycle when the defendant slammed into him. He's suing for a deductible, damaged jeans, and loss of income. But defendant Marcos Contreras says the police report determined it was Sherman who was at fault for speeding into the intersection, and he owes the plaintiff nothing. Joining him in court is Elizabeth Gilman.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is Ross versus Contreras.
Thank you, Barbara. Mr. Ross, you are suing the defendant for hitting you with his truck while you were riding your motorcycle. You say he owes you $10,000 for a deductible, ruining your designer jeans, and loss of income due to pain and suffering. Mr. Contreras, you say you don't owe anything because the accident was the plaintiff's fault. I'll hear from you first, Mr. Ross. What happened?
Okay. I was driving 9:25 in the morning on March 19th. Beautiful morning, totally at peace, enjoying the day, and all of a sudden I just hear a roar. I see a truck right on me. Boom! He hit my front fender. I went flying. I went down to the ground. My bike spun around. Your Honor, not only did he hit me, he was going to flee the scene of the accident. Somebody ran after his truck and stopped him. It was caught on closed circuit TV.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
So this is Marcos coming down in the red truck. Before he gets the middle of the intersection, boom! He speeds up, hit me. You can see the truck hitting my front fender. The front of my bike was in the front of his truck. I'm down on the ground. People start running over. He has no driver's license and he has no insurance.
Sorry.
He shouldn't have even been behind the wheel of a truck. He's a danger. I have a mild concussion. I still have vertigo to this day. My head spins. I still have elbow pain, knee pain.
I mean, you're lucky that truck went right by your head.
I smelled his tire. I smelled the rubber. Another 6 inches, I'd be pinned under my bike with the hot mufflers melting my skin. I'd be pinned under the bike, pinned under the truck, just another 6 inches. My crash bar saved the whole day. You know, in the trauma center, the police came to visit me. That's when they told me that, you know, you're pretty much SOL. The guy that hit you has no driver's license and no insurance. And we see this every day. He came up to me at the scene of the accident.
This was a really serious accident, and I'm really glad that you were wearing a helmet. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to wear helmets when people are on bikes.
Your Honor.
Because your head hit the pavement, and you really could have suffered really serious injuries as a result of this. I want to know how, if we go back to the video, the first frame in that video, you said that someone told you that it was okay to go. You obviously couldn't see around the cars that were next to you. Someone on the street told you that it was okay for you to proceed forward?
No, I know there's motorists driving there. They say, yes, keep going, because I was going too slow.
Let's roll the video again. The fact is, I don't think you could see around the cars that were next to you. You pause right there, and then you speed up to go through the intersection.
Yeah,
and that's when you hit him.
I was trying to stop. It was clear. It was totally clear.
It wasn't clear. It wasn't clear because you hit him in 3 seconds.
Excuse me,
it wasn't clear.
It was clear.
So you're saying that you were driving through the intersection.
Yes.
You stopped at the stop sign.
Yes.
Why did you go if you couldn't see what was on either side of
clear.
you? It was not clear, sir.
It was like a half.
He enters that intersection in less than 3 seconds after you proceed
Because
to
he
go
was
through the
speeding.
intersection.
Even the cops
fact
told me
is,
that.
you didn't see him, and just because you didn't see him, you want to say that it was clear. It wasn't clear. Your defense is you were going through the intersection. He was speeding, sped up, and that's how you ended up hitting him. That's your defense.
I didn't hit him. He hit me. He landed on me.
You know
A
what?
cops told me, I don't have the paper with me, but it's a cop stuff was there. I said, look, I asked them, it's my fault. They said, you know what?
Well, you know what? You didn't bring your paperwork to court, so in my mind, it doesn't even exist.
All
You don't
right.
have your paperwork, it doesn't exist. That's your burden of proof. Who's your witness today?
I got my witness, my wife.
Okay, let's hear. What do you have to say, ma'am? Step up to the lectern.
I was not there. I did not see the accident. I was not with Marcos. All I know is that Sherwin came to our house.
Okay, well, don't tell me anything that he told you because that's hearsay.
I did give him my phone number as well, because at that time.
Where was Marcos?
He was still in jail.
Oh,
at that point.
Why were you in jail?
I was in jail, not because of the accident. And maybe this one, he can help you. I asked the cop, look, what I'm being arrested? He said, you're not arrested for the accident because it's not your fault. In fact, they showed me the video when I was in Lake County, and they said, look, you were 3 miles an hour, and then he was 25. He was speeding. He said, okay, what is my charges? They said, you had a accumulation tickets for warrants. You haven't paid.
You were
That's
arrested at the scene for warrants,
for
outstanding warrants.
Not for accident.
Warrants
Okay,
for
what
what?
accident? My fault. They said, no, it's not your fault.
Warrants
He
for
was
what?
speeding.
Warrants for what?
One, for now driving without insurance. 2, for using the phone.
While you're driving.
That's why
Driving
I had a ticket.
violations. Other
And another one
driving
for
violations.
invalid license.
That sounds
and
about right.
3 more warrants for being late on my child support.
Coming up on Judge Faith, who had the right of way?
I've been riding for 45 years. I've never had an accident.
Me either.
After this,
You have enough tickets to last you a lifetime, so I need you to be quiet.
And later, Judge Faith talks truth to these two dueling divas.
I was not breaking into
God,
his
there's
house.
no excuse for
There's
the
no
eggs,
excuse.
the king of the cars.
But this has to do with
calling
him.
somebody
This has
70
nothing to do
times.
with her.
No,
All
ma'am.
I did
No,
was call
ma'am.
her
This
phone.
is your life, and these are your choices
Yeah, of
that you were
course.
making.
It has
You're
nothing
not
to do
making
with
the
her,
right
Your Honor.
choices.
Plaintiff Sherwin Ross says he was blissfully riding his motorcycle when the defendant slammed into him. He's suing for a deductible, damaged jeans, and loss of income. But defendant Marcos Contreras says the police report determined it was Sherwin who was at fault for speeding into the intersection, and he owes the plaintiff nothing.
when I went to finally face Marcos face to face after Elizabeth told me he just got out of jail, I then said, Marcos, do you know you nearly killed me? And he said, oh, yeah. This man did not apologize to me. He had no compassion of this life-changing event in my world. It's a life-changing event.
What do you have to say about that?
I don't clearly remember that day when he stopped by. I was working that day there. I specifically work in that place every day. I work, basically on most of the dealers in South California, piano dealers.
I've been riding for 45 years. I've never had an accident.
Me either.
After this,
You have enough tickets to last you a lifetime, so I need you to be quiet.
I honestly have lost a lot of the joy I had in riding. I'm very scared now. Every intersection I go into, I'm like waving to people, flashing my lights, revving the engine. Do you see me? Do you see me? I'm so,
Well, it's a traumatic experience
It's
when you're
traumatic.
hit like that in an
Then you should have
accident.
been not speeding.
It's a traumatic
You
experience.
should pay attention
You didn't
too.
I
know.
was
You don't
going
know
20
that he was
miles an hour.
speeding because you didn't
No,
see
the cop
him.
told me you were like 30 miles
Don't
an hour right
speak
there
to
in an
him.
intersection, 50 miles an hour.
35 miles an hour is the speed zone.
A picture really is worth 1,000 words because when I look at that video and I see that intersection, he has the right of way. There's no stop sign. Do not interrupt while I'm ruling. He has no stop sign. There is no red light. You didn't see him, so you don't know if he was speeding or not. That's just an excuse
A
you're
cop
trying to
told me.
use. I said don't interrupt. and I see you come up to that stop sign in that intersection, and you clearly can't see what's on the right of you because you slowly creep forward and then you speed up and accelerate to go through the intersection. I said, don't interrupt. That's 3 times. The next time you're out. Less than 3 seconds later, you hit him head on in the front of his motorcycle, and you barely miss his head when you drive around him. You could have killed him. So I find you are liable for this accident. The question is how much you're going to pay him in damages. You owe him $1,000 for the deductible. I also find that you owe him for the ambulance bill, which is $1,451.75. Do you have proof that you missed work as a result of this accident?
I have no proof.
Because you were not working.
I'm self-employed and I was working.
Okay, well that's unfortunate. I can't award you for missing work. The motorcycle was covered under your insurance, so there's no out-of-pocket expenses for the motorcycle itself. Verdict for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,451.75. You need to keep your eye on the road and stop running people over.
Plaintiff Ladrina Underwood says her baby daddy's other baby mama ruined her summer vacation. She's suing the defendant for harassment. But defendant Savannah Kuntz is countersuing for pain and suffering because she claims Ladrina is intentionally causing baby mama drama.
Okay, Ladrina Underwood?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant Savannah Kuntz for $500 for harassment?
Yes.
And Ms. Kuntz, you are countersuing for $2,000 for pain and suffering?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start with you. Ms. Underwood, what's going on here? How do you know the defendant?
The defendant and I both have a child by the same man. She has, the first time that we came across.
How old is your child?
She's 8 years old now.
Okay, and how old is your child?
8 months.
Do you have a boy or girl?
A little boy.
Okay.
I've been dealing with her harassment since day one.
Are you still with the baby's father?
I was not with him when she got pregnant by him.
Okay. What about you? Are you still seeing him?
No, not at all.
By the way, where is Casanova today? Is he
MIA? MIA.
Okay. How many babies does Romeo have by
3.
different women?
3.
Okay.
3 women, 3 children.
He might not be best boyfriend, but he is an excellent father.
I consider an excellent father to be someone who's a good role model to their kids.
He's
and
a good role
in order to be a good role model to your kids, you have to know how to treat the people in your life.
He's a
so I'm just saying, don't sell yourself short. When you say that, because
I don't sell myself short, and I'm not dating him. The problem is harassment.
I'm not sure if you are
harassing
or not,
me
because I don't understand why the two of you are here, and why the two of you. I understand that you have children with the same man. And, that's just a fact. You have to accept it. That happened.
Yeah, that's right.
And the fact that the two of you are in so much conflict doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You have a choice to make. You can either get along because your kids are going to see each other and be together if they're with their father, or you can do what you've been doing, which is cause each other to have miserable lives. So which is it going to be?
She caused me to have miserable lives.
I tried to bury the hatchet
70 times.
Hold on a second. What did she do?
70 times
I
every day.
Yes.
And you see, she admits to it.
Coming up, Judge Faith calls a timeout on the baby mama drama.
This is just a bunch of drama.
It is
to
a bunch of drama.
This is a bunch of
I
drama.
agree.
No one else is responsible for the choices that you make. That's on you.
Plaintiff Ladrina Underwood says the defendant ruined her summer vacation. She's suing for harassment. But defendant Savannah Kuntz is countersuing for pain and suffering because she claims the plaintiff intentionally caused the baby mama drama.
That's borderline stalking, harassment.
Yeah, I admit that I was doing that because she was sitting here calling my. She will not stop getting in our business, Your Honor. She keep involving herself. Every time I go to his house, she comes into, like one time, she tried to put her hands on me when I was pregnant.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
One time when I was pregnant, Me and him were talking. He came out to talk to me. He's like, I'm gonna take you home. And I was like, okay. She comes outside with her kids. I'm like, okay, this is an A and B conversation. See yourself out of it. She's like, no, we gotta go get the baby just an outfit from Ross.
Like that.
I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, excuse me? And then she was like, I'm gonna put my hands on you. I said, that's what you're not gonna do is put your hands on me. I said, once you put your hands on me, you're gonna go to jail because obviously you can see I'm pregnant. She was like, get her out my face, get her out my face. I swear I'm here. I said, girl, boo, if you want to take it there, we're going to take it there.
Who did the egging and scratching up somebody's car?
But this has nothing to do with her. This has nothing to do with her, Your Honor.
Me and my children were at the home at that time. Like I said,
when was that?
We co-parent. It was in the summer of 2013.
And what did you do?
Basically, when I was telling the story about when I went to the house, she opened the door, she closed the door. So I was like, seeing him outside. She was like, no, he's not gonna stop talking. So they called the police. The police came out and I explained what happened. They was like, so what do you want to happen? I said, to be honest, I just want him to talk. Every time he's at my house, he gotta jump and leave. And I'm like, why are you leaving?
With him?
And I'm like, why are you leaving?
I don't have him.
So what did you do? You egged the house?
Yes, I did. And I paid for it. And I have proof that I paid him for the damages of this year.
So far, you've admitted to egging a house, calling her over 70 times.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying, you're almost 30 years old. You're acting like a scorned teenager.
And I got a video.
Real. No. That's real. Let me tell you something. Let me finish. No, because you are a mother now. That is very low-brow behavior.
But someone keeps pushing me.
No, ma'am. You are responsible for your life. No one else is responsible for the choices that you make. That's on you. And let me tell you something. You are not making the right choices. You should have higher expectations for yourself because if he wanted to be with you, no one could stop him from being with you. Not her, not anyone else.
Yes.
That's his choice.
And he admitted to that.
This is just a bunch of drama.
It is a bunch of drama.
The problem is she's been harassing me. I'm tired of it.
You submitted a video for evidence?
I had a video. Me and my daughter were at home. I house sit for him.
What is this a video of?
This is her sticking her hand in through the window. I did.
She did.
What am I seeing here?
She is sticking her hand in through the curtain, trying to see if he's home because he wasn't. So I did not answer the door. And then she finally sees, oh, it's me, and telling me she don't care if she's being videotaped, and she just
Where's the audio? Where's the audio?
What, is that you?
Where's the audio?
Yeah. I'm asking,
that's her.
Is that you?
Yeah. I still got the video on my phone to this day.
Where's the audio?
And you are doing what exactly in this video?
I was talking when I came to his house. First of all, when I came to his house, I was going through an emotional, threatening a miscarriage. Then on top of that, I became temporarily homeless. He told me to come to the house. He was like, come straight to the house. He was like, I'm at the beach with the children. Come straight to the house. I said, okay, I'm coming straight to the house.
Don't stop interrupting.
So when I got to the house, I'm knocking on the door. I'm texting him like, okay, I'm at the house. He's like, okay, I'm here. I said, how are you here? I said, how are you here? And I hear someone moving in the house. So I'm talking through the screen. I was like, you know what? He stopped texting. So I'm talking through the screen. I'm pouring my feelings out through the screen, crying, hysterical, letting him know, like, I can't do this. I'm at a point where I'm homeless. Me and my daughter, you sat here and left us for dead. I can't do this anymore. I got to go back out of state to try to get back right so I can come back out here for my child. I'm not doing this anymore. So I'm hearing movement and snickering. So I cut the screen. I did do that. And when I looked through the window, she's recording. She's recording. I'm like, wait a minute. So you telling me you've been recording this the whole time? Yep, I was recording the whole time. I said, so why would you play with my emotions? Like, why are you taking somebody talking through a screen and start recording and then you're snickering? Like, that's immature. I said, she was like, well, you're immature.
Man, you're breaking into somebody's house.
No,
you
it wasn't breaking. I was not breaking into his house. Your Honor,
you're burglarizing someone's home. That is exactly what it is.
Your Honor.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
There's no excuse for the eggs, the king of the cars.
But this has to do with
calling somebody 70 times.
To do with her.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is your life, and these are your choices that you were making.
And it has
You're
nothing
not
to do
making
with
the
her,
right
Your Honor.
choices. You're not making the right choices.
That was then.
You are not making the right choices.
And that was then. And I agree. I wasn't.
Neither one of you are with this guy right now.
No, I'm not
so
with
you have to get beyond that and have some mutual respect for each other.
I tried. I tried.
You're not even letting me speak. Right. Calm down. You have kids with the same man, so you are going to be connected in some kind of way for a long time. you have a choice to make here. Whether you are going to continue to cause chaos into each other's lives, because it sounds like he's not going to change, and he's going to be exactly the person who I think he is, and I think who you know him to be at this point.
Yes.
He's not going to change, but you're the one that has to change, because this is not a therapy session, this is court. And so it's going to be up to the two of you. You're not getting any money in this case, because this is nothing but a bunch of drama. Go home, get it together, get your lives together, and move on. If you can't get along, don't contact each other and move on. Have a good day.
A parking dispute turns into threats and road rage.
I know where your house is. I know where you park your red truck. I know your wife.
I walk out my front door and I see him every day. If I don't see him, I see his vehicle. And that's so unsettling. I'm supposed to go home and feel safe, and I don't feel safe. We had to install cameras so that we could just catch anything. That's been our daily lives.
What's funny? What's funny about that to you?
Because they acting it out. She's not even crying. Look at her. She's acting like she's crying, but there's no tears.
If you keep talking, I'm going to find you in contempt.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Juan D. Velasco and his wife Lorena Cortez are suing a neighbor for damage to their motorcycle and lost wages. Manuel Cabezas says the motorcycle hit his truck, and he's countersuing for lost wages.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is case Velasco versus Cabezas.
Thank you, Barbara. Mr. Velasco, you're suing the defendant for $1,588 for damages to your motorcycle and lost wages. Mr. Cabezas, you say you owe the plaintiff nothing because you did not hit his motorcycle, and you're countersuing for $1,170 in lost wages. Mr. Velasco, we'll start with you. What happened?
So first of all, Your Honor, this guy and I, we live in the same neighborhood, and we never met before.
That's not true.
On April 23rd, I was working on my motorcycle with a friend. We were fixing the right-hand mirror. It was a little loose, so I needed to take care of the...
Where were you doing this?
In front of my house. I was parked legally, 90
Across
degrees
the street
on my bike.
from his house.
Yeah.
Okay, don't interrupt, sir. Let me hear what he said.
So I was parked on my motorcycle and working on it, when out of nowhere, this guy shows up with his van, pulls next to us, and he comes out of his van and he's saying, "Hey, don't you see that I'm trying to park there? You need to move away." To which, to me was a little surprising and aggressive, his tone. So I just respond, "Look, I'm parked here. I've been parked here for all morning and I'm working on my bike right now. I don't plan to move away." So he said immediately, "I know where your house is. I know where you park your red truck. I know your wife." And all these statements that out loud to someone that you've never met before, it's a little, threatening, and it's just a little scary to me.
Was your motorcycle parked directly in front of your house where you live?
So my house, it was in front of the street, in front of my house.
Across the street, Judge.
Was it parked in front of someone's driveway?
Yes, in the neighbor's driveway.
Hold on a second. I haven't asked you anything.
Okay.
It was parked on legally at 90 degrees, that's all. Yes.
So he pulls up, he wants you to move, you guys exchange words, what happens next?
So as I said, I'm not planning on moving. He gets into his van and he backs up, and I'm saying, "Hey, you're gonna hit my bike," because obviously the space was really small. He was trying to park in front of a driveway. And then he hits my bike when he goes forward, and I just pull off my cell phone really quick and record what happened.
On the driveway.
Really, really fast it happened. I said, "Hey, you hit my bike, you need to give me your insurance." Completely ignore me, and he just walked away, give me his bag, and shut a door.
Okay, and did you call the police?
I said, "I'm not gonna give you the insurance."
I said, don't interrupt.
Okay, Judge.
So,
did you call the police?
So basically what happened is that I was trying to talk to him and he just walked away. So at that point I was obligated to just call SFPD. So I called SFPD. They came to...
SFPD is
San Francisco Police Department.
Okay.
So
they responded. Do you have a police report?
I have a collision report card.
Let me see that.
Yes.
Okay, sir, I'll hear from you.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay, Your Honor.
First of all, do you live on this street?
I live a few blocks up the street. I was working on the person's house where this happened.
Okay.
So my neighbor and friend, also my client, she has complained to me in the past how they both switch over with the motorcycle and the big red truck, and so when the space comes available, he comes and parks his bike in the middle so nobody can get there, and then she comes with a big red truck and blocks the whole entire area. So this old person, my neighbor, she
How
can...
many vehicles do you have?
We have 3 vehicles. We have a truck for our business. We have my motorcycle, which is my main transportation because I go downtown a lot. It's super hard to park in San Francisco. And then we have a mini, a car. To just
and the red car,
Okay, and where do you keep those vehicles parked?
We park in the street because there's street parking.
I can't hear what he's saying because you keep interrupting.
I thought it was my time. Didn't you say it was my time?
I'm asking him a question and he's answering it.
So basically, we need to park on the street because, like everyone else in San Francisco, street parking is very hard. And basically, if you see a spot, you park in it, and that's about it. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it is in that.
Okay, but on this particular day, you
problem.
drive up and his motorcycle is parked. Was it in front of the? Are you saying his motorcycle was in front of a driveway?
Yes.
Or on the street?
In the street on the driveway. Because in the city in San Francisco, the houses are tight together, wall to wall, so there's no space in between properties. So one little space like this is worth a lot of money, literally. You know, like people fight for space to park, and neighbors got this silent code that they respect the spaces, you know. But this couple right here have a lot of cars.
But you don't
so they don't respect nobody's spaces.
You were a visitor on the street, right?
No, I'm a contractor.
You were working.
I was working
visiting someone who
on my
lives
friend's
on the street.
house. I was working on my friend's house right across the street from their house. He has a 10-foot wide sidewalk. He has
I
plenty
understand
of
that,
space.
but it wasn't your parking space that they were
It was
blocking,
the driveway of my customer.
Okay, so you go,
I have the right and a contract.
You see his motorcycle parked there. What happens?
No, his motorcycle wasn't parked there. I was there, and the space became available. I was gonna pull forward. I asked him to move. I have actually asked him to move in the past already. 2 weeks before this happened, I told him, hey man, I didn't say exactly what happened, but because it was no need for that, but my client was complaining that he was blocking the driveway all the time and she can never get in there. And so I was about to start the job, and I told him, he was already blocking me when I told him, look man, can you not please park here? Because I need to get over here with my truck, and I got equipment, I got tools, I got materials, I got helpers. There's trash that comes out of here. There's things that are gonna go in.
Okay, so what happened? You
and
had
so
this
can you please
conversation
not
with
park
him.
here? And so he go, okay, no problem. He checked his head, okay, fine. And he went and parked across the street on his sidewalk where he has plenty of room for that.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
Stop
That didn't
talking.
happen.
Stop
that
talking.
happened after the incident.
If you
in
keep
fact,
talking,
there was a guy.
sit down.
And later,
We had to install cameras so that like we could just catch anything. Like that's been our daily lives.
Juan Velasco and his wife Lorena Cortez are suing contractor Manuel Cabezas for damages, claiming he deliberately hit their motorcycle with his truck. Manuel says it was Juan who caused the damage. He owes nothing and is countersuing for lost wages.
I'm asking you specifically what happened on this day.
This is what's happening. Let me finish the story. I'm getting there. This thing is an ongoing incident.
Stop. Let me get you straight on something.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question and I want you to answer it. You're trying to tell me about everything else that's happening. I'm asking you how his motorcycle hit your truck as you allege.
He blocked his motorcycle.
Stop interrupting me and answer my question.
Yes.
How are you saying his motorcycle hit your truck and damaged your truck?
His motorcycle never hit my truck. In fact, I got a pictures here with the motorcycle when I park, and he was parked, and he doesn't park in a 40. He parks in a 45-degree angle, not a 90-degree angle. Look, this is it right here.
Barbara, hand me those pictures.
And the damages that he's claiming that I did to him, you know, I got pictures of all his damages, and you know, it has nothing to do with my truck.
You said in your answer, sir, that his motorcycle hit your truck. I'm asking you how that happened.
He didn't hit my motor. I'm confused. He didn't hit my. I didn't hit him.
Why are you confused? All I'm asking you to do is tell the truth.
There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of
truth?
questions happening. That didn't happen. That's his story.
Exactly, that didn't happen.
You got the picture right there to prove it. And this is the damages that he's claiming. Tell me that I did that with my bumper. I mean, somebody smart can say that this was a road rash, that he dropped his bike on the street, and then he scraped it with the sidewalk or with the asphalt. My bumper could have done this.
Let's put up
Look
these
at
photos
it.
on the plasma. What is this a picture of?
Do you see my truck, my van hitting this motorcycle
Okay, so
there?
that's your white van.
Yes.
And that is
And
your
my bumper is
motorcycle
black,
painted?
Your Honor.
Your Honor, as you can see, I'm not in the driveway. That's the sidewalk. And it's 45 degrees because he moved my bike when he hit it.
I move your bike?
And there's pictures right here that I can
You're
prove
so
that
full
with.
of it.
When you hit the bike.
I have pictures right here that I can
Okay,
prove
next
them.
picture. And this is a picture of
the other side of his motorcycle. If you allow me, I can
And you
point
took
out
this
to you.
photo?
Stay where you are.
Okay.
I can point out to you where he got scratches on the same place as the opposite side where he said that I hit his motorcycle. Like, this guy's been dropping. He doesn't know how to ride this bike. He drops it everywhere.
I'm sorry.
And then now he wants me to repair it for him.
I've never
Do you
had
have
an
pictures
accident
that
on
you
my
want to
bike.
show me?
Yeah.
Okay,
please.
let me see those. Barbara, would you hand me his pictures?
He got scratches all over the bike, and now he wants me to pay for all that because he thinks I'm a big-time contractor, you know? That's not happening here.
Okay, what is this? I'm not asking you, I'm asking him. What
That's
is this
his
a photo
van,
of?
and that's the bumper which he hit my bike with.
Okay, so you're saying there's damage on the bumper from where he hit your bike?
Yeah, you can see how he has scratches as well.
Okay, let's see the next picture.
Your Honor, do you see the scratches? Hold on.
Stop talking.
Can I say something about that?
No.
Okay, well, can we go back to after?
No.
Why not?
Okay, what is this a picture of?
So that's a picture of the left engine of my bike and how he hit.
Do you see the scratches white? My bumper is black. How can
Actually,
I do that?
that actually looks like the paint has completely come off the motorcycle down to the metal.
Yes.
That's not paint.
Yes.
So he's saying that you hit his bike and scratched the paint completely off, and that's metal.
Yes,
Okay,
but you can
hold on
see
one
those
second.
scratches are from the bottom up, as when you drop the motorcycle, not from side to side, like if I was swiping him, like he says. If you see this, oh, I'm
Stay
sorry.
behind the podium, please.
Okay, if you see the scratches, how they go up like this, that has nothing to do with me.
Okay, all right, sir. Give me 1 second here.
Unless I was driving a rocket, you know?
Stop talking.
Okay.
Your Honor, as I was saying, he wasn't giving me his insurance information. I had to call the police. Then
course not.
they were able to get his insurance.
Okay,
but-
so you called the police, you
Yes.
asked for his insurance information,
Yes, the
and
police,
what happened with that?
So the police asked me what happened. They asked him what happened. They came back to me. They said, "Look, we weren't here. You need to show us something." So I showed them a video that I got at the moment of the collision.
Okay, you have the video?
Yes. I
Okay,
have
let's look at the
video.
video.
Oh, I don't have the video. How am I supposed to defend?
I don't care
You
if
see
you-
that?
Stop
That didn't
talking.
happen.
Stop
that
talking.
happened after the incident.
If you
In
keep
fact,
talking,
there was a
sit
guy.
down. Sit down.
Okay.
Okay, let's play the video again.
I apologize, Your Honor. That
What are we looking at in this video?
So you're looking at him driving his truck, trying to park on that parking spot and hitting my bike. You can see his wheels when he backed up, and the motorcycle is moving.
He's moving the camera. The truck is not moving.
I don't see that the truck is moving in this video, but stop it right there. What I do see, though, is the kickstand is still down on the motorcycle. You did say in your answer that he backed his motorcycle up into your truck. How would he be able to do that if the kickstand is still down? It looks like it never
Because
moved.
he got off the motorcycle, put the kickstand down, and went out with the camera and took a picture. And the other guy that was working at the job site told me that he saw him moving the truck.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
Do you understand this is my courtroom and I run this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we don't go back
But
to
this
anything
person
unless
is
I
lying,
want to.
is
Be
lying and
quiet.
putting me over here on the stand, you know, and want me to fix his motorcycle based on a lie.
If you
know?
keep talking, I'm going to find you in contempt.
Juan Velasco and his wife Lorena Cortez are suing contractor Manuel Cabezas for damages to his motorcycle. Manuel says he owes nothing.
Did you ever contact the defendant's insurance company?
So yes, exactly. I got the report from the police and his insurance. I contacted his insurance. I filed an insurance claim with my own insurance, and there was a response from his insurance. You know, maybe a month later.
What was that
or maybe a little
response?
bit, that he wasn't insured at the time of collision.
Okay, step back up to the lectern. Were you insured at the time of this?
Yes, Your
incident?
Honor. It was a lapse of insurance because I had another truck before that one.
So you were not insured?
Oh, yes, I was insured. I got insurance here.
Okay, and so what happened when...
The insurance denied the claim because I told them exactly what I'm telling you. And I told them that I didn't hit him, I didn't touch him or anything. And insurance said, well, if you didn't hit him, we had just purchased the truck. I had another van. And so when you buy a new vehicle, you got 30 days lapse.
You said your insurance denied his claim. I want to know why you say they denied it.
Because I told my insurance what I just have said to you guys over here today. You know, that I didn't hit the bike.
You're saying that they found that he was at fault, and so that's why they denied the claim?
Please.
Answer my question.
Yes.
All right. Let me hear from you.
Wait, I gotta say one more thing.
Let me hear from you, and while you're talking, hand up. You have an estimate for damages for your bike?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let me have a look at that, please.
I want to go back to that picture.
I'm not going back to... Do you understand this is my courtroom and I run this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we don't go back to anything unless I want to.
But this person is lying and putting me over here on the stand, you know, and want me to fix his motorcycle based on a lie.
If you keep talking, I'm going to find you in contempt.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I'll hear from you.
And this is
I'm his wife. I arrived at the scene when the police were bringing the defendant back. My husband told me what was going on, and he was telling me that we should be concerned because he knows exactly where we live. He knows our vehicles. He knows who I am. Like, I immediately went into I was frightened. I'm still frightened, and you can see how aggressive he is. And this is what
Don't talk to her. You talk to me. Don't speak to another litigant in my courtroom.
I walk out my front door and I see him every day. If I don't see him, I see his vehicle, and that's so unsettling. I'm supposed to go home and feel safe, and I don't feel safe. And we had to install cameras so that we could just catch anything. That's been our daily lives.
What's funny? What's funny about that to you?
Because they acting it out. She's not even crying. Look at her. She's acting like she's crying, but there's no tears. Your Honor, look, you see the estimate? Do you see the estimate? Have you seen the estimate?
Have the estimate. I'm looking at it now.
Does it look like all these parts were damaged? Look at the picture.
Did you get this work done on the motorcycle? Did you actually get the work done?
I haven't. I don't have the money.
So there's nothing damaged?
Yeah, I took the motorcycle to BMW in San Francisco. You know, I cannot tell them what to judge or not. I told them what happened, and they did an evaluation on the parts that were scratched and damaged.
Okay.
Also, I had to pay for that estimate up front. And I wouldn't be here in this court today, and I wouldn't have to go through all this trouble if this person was insured properly, because then I would be dealing with insurance, and that's it.
Well, he said he was insured, and the insurance denied the claim. Let me see your proof of
his
insurance.
Says that,
stay behind the podium.
His insurance says that the vehicle.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Okay. And what do you have?
This document, his insurance states that his vehicle does not qualify for coverage under the terms and conditions of the policy.
Okay, hand that up to Barbara, please. We're going to take a brief recess. Court's adjourned.
Court is back in session as Judge Faith rules.
There's something to be said about someone who comes into this courtroom, looks a judge right in the face, and outright lies to them. And if you lie to me, if you try to perpetrate a fraud on this court, you will be held accountable. I contacted your insurance company. Not only did they never investigate this claim, they never told you that it was the plaintiff's fault for this accident. You know why? Because you didn't have insurance at the time. Your insurance had lapsed.
No, you wouldn't contact my insurance company, and they wouldn't say that to you. I am sure they wouldn't say that to you. I am 100% sure they wouldn't say that to you. No, I would not.
Do not speak. Do not interrupt me.
Yes, because I have insurance, and this insurance is not fake, and we can call him right now as a matter of fact.
Get out. You're done. We are done.
Okay, fine.
Get him out of here, Barbara.
Fine.
Because you lied to me. You did not have insurance. Your insurance had lapsed.
Step on out.
And I believe every word
only
he
proves
said
that
about
he's
the
a better
accident.
liar, and you are in
Goodbye,
conspiracy
sir.
against him. I mean, against me, and on his favor. That's the only thing that he proves. Because this insurance is not a lie, and I'm not a liar, and I'm not a liar.
Get
all right?
out of court.
I'm not a liar. Don't accuse me of lying, because that's insurance right there.
Step on out. That way.
I don't accept this kind of behavior in my courtroom, and I think that his behavior exhibits the kind of bully and coward he is. I think he did exactly what you said he did. I think you didn't want to move and you were legally parked in that space, and he hit your motorcycle with his truck.
So, thank you.
The defendant thinks he's a tough guy, but he's not a tough guy, because tough guys, real men, don't damage someone else's property to resolve conflict. Real men don't resort to violence to resolve conflict. And real men don't come into this courtroom, look a judge in their face and lie to them. My judgment in this case is for the plaintiff. Verdict for the plaintiff, $1,288.
Thank you very much.